Three, two, one. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining for another History Live interview. Tonight, I am finally going to interview Cleopatra. Yes, you heard me right. I'm speaking to Cleopatra. She is an archaeologist, an Egyptologist, and her actual name is Cleopatra Lawrence. And Cleopatra has also worked on many National Geographic documentaries, producing and researching for them. So Cleopatra, I'm so happy that you could join us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great. I've been excited to do this for a while. So thank you.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's going to be so much fun getting to know more about you, and that's always how I like to start these interviews, is getting to know more about the person. So before we delve into some history and those kinds of interesting things, let's start at the beginning. You studied at Oxford.
Yeah.
And how did the interest in archaeology and ancient Egypt come about?
Well, I mean, you could say my name must have had something to do with it. I think my mother is half Greek, so I was brought up, so that's why I'm called Cleopatra, because her family was Greek.
Yes.
So I was brought up hearing about ancient history and Greek myths and all of that. You know, she used to read me those when I was going to bed. And then I think I just got obsessed by the stories, really. So I don't know if you ever had them, but my favorite books were the Roman mysteries, and there was a novel about these children in ancient Rome who were detectives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I loved them. And I just kind of got obsessed by it. And then I kept up with it. And at school, I loved history and everything. And then what really made me want to do, because I studied archaeology and anthropology, and what really made me want to do it is I actually read a book called Britain Begins, and it tells the whole story from 15,000 years ago to Viking time. And I just love the idea of basically finding everything out, finding the whole chronology, telling the whole story, and kind of imagining what it was like to be in that world. I basically like sort of past worlds, imagining these different worlds.
Yeah.
And then I studied it, and yeah, now I work in it.
Now you're working in it. I mean, but like you said, it must have started from obviously your mom reading you stories and telling you the Greek myths and things like that. For myself, I had a Greek aunt who I used to visit her, and she used to tell me like all the Greek myths and all these
Yeah.
things. And now that I've studied this and I've been learning about these things, Egyptology, and also it goes with Greek history as well. Now my aunt and my uncle, we sit together and we have these huge conversations about history, and it gets very sometimes it gets very heated, but we're adult enough to understand what each other are saying.
Yeah.
Do you ever have those kinds of conversations with your family about history?
I mean, I know whenever anyone speaks about Cleopatra, my Greek family will be like, she's Greek. and other people will say that's not entirely true. I think with history, especially archaeology, they slightly leave it to me. I think they don't want to be proven wrong about something. But yeah, I love having those discussions as well. And it's definitely special, the fact that all my family are very interested in it as well.
Yeah.
I've been brought up with that, so yeah.
And your family were very supportive of you becoming an archaeologist and historian? And
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think my mother probably wanted me to do ancient Greek and classics rather than the Egyptian way, but they were still happy with it, for sure.
yeah, I think it's in the name, Cleopatra. You were forced
Yeah,
inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what do your friends think when you tell them, "Oh, hi guys, I'm an Egyptologist, I'm an archaeologist"?
I think they can't really believe it that I mean, first of all, with my name, it's obviously quite funny, but
Yeah,
then also that I'm doing something that I really do genuinely love. I
yeah,
think is not that common really
yeah,
for my age as well. So yeah, they can't really believe that I'm doing this, and the work I do is so fun as well. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the first conversations you and I ever had was literally about your name. I was like, "Is your name really
yeah,
Cleopatra?"
yeah,
So,
exactly. No, whenever a lot, a lot of this when I'm doing the Nat Geo documentaries, um, whenever I'm speaking to some of the Egyptologists, pretty much the first thing they'll say is, "I'm speaking to Cleopatra" every time.
exactly, exactly. I've been chatting to so many of my friends, and I've been telling them like, "Oh my God, guys, I'm meeting Cleopatra."
Yeah. So it's a good icebreaker, at least when I'm introducing our series to them.
Yeah, yeah. So, where was your first dig site as an archaeologist?
My first dig site was in Dorchester, in nearby Oxford. So we had to be trained in field work. So at the end of first year, we were all sent off to these Roman ruins. And it was 2 weeks in the boiling sun, because I remember it was a really huge heat wave. And it was great. It was, yeah, with lots of my friends, and we camped by a lake and basically just learnt to dig for 2 weeks. And it
Wow.
was yeah, it was pretty idyllic, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot of fun as well. Did you find anything interesting?
Um, it was more about training rather than about a lot of the finds. To be honest, there was quite a lot of ceramics, and that's the norm. Um, but yeah, it was more about learning the methodology and that rather than the discoveries.
Yeah. And is archaeology as dirty as people think it is?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, yeah, when we were in Pompeii, you'd come back and you'd also because it was hot, so the dirt sticks on you, and you'd get dirt and play. I mean, up your nose, in your mouth, and your hair turns to like straw. You can literally break it off at the end of the day. I mean, you're completely covered.
Yeah.
You don't think that'll happen, but yeah, definitely is. I
Yeah.
mean, you can choose different places. I think in Egypt, it's sandy rather than just pure dirt, but yeah, you might have to choose your area.
Well, I think if I was to dig, it would be probably in Egypt. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think just the landscape's also a bit more stable, I feel, Greece and Italy, earthquakes and things like that. So
yeah, true, true,
yeah,
true, true.
yeah.
So it's just the earthquakes, not the discoveries or
Yeah, it's more about I don't want to like
safe.
get stuck in a hole.
True.
So how did you come to start digging at Pompeii?
So that was just really lucky, to be honest. My professor ran a mission there, so I got to go dig there for 2 months or so, and yeah, it was yeah, definitely one of the best experiences of my life. That was where we had amazing discoveries, and like I think for me it was just we were living in Pompeii, and every morning you'd walk through the streets, you'd go through the amphitheater, you go through the roads, and you'd get water at the water taps that the Romans used to use, and all those kind of yeah, all those little things
Yeah,
that made you really feel like you were like living in the town. I think that's why Pompeii is so special, and Herculaneum.
yeah,
It's because you really get a sense of it really brings you back to that time.
exactly.
Um, and yeah, and so we were digging in the Republican baths and trying to find out about the origin of baths and just trying to find out more about them, really. And my professor was actually interested in the layers below the Roman layers.
Oh,
So yeah, which is kind of slightly less usual to be in Pompeii for that.
yeah.
Um, but we were with a German team who did more of the Roman stuff. Um, but yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, because a lot of people just focus on, okay, you know, the volcanic eruption and all of that, but there is a whole history before Pompeii, which I think is actually quite interesting. I mean, there's even Egyptian artifacts that have been found from Zamtik III. It's just, there's a lot more than just that one day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, you should get my professor onto it. There's everything underneath. It's just all buried underneath, and no one's that interested in it because obviously you've got the splendors of Pompeii there. So why would you, I guess? But it's definitely interesting for the more curious.
exactly. But I loved how you said walking through the city, it's like you're living in the ancient city. I remember I had my water bottle and I was filling it up from one of the taps running into like a fountain. And my friend was saying to me, she was like, "No, you can't drink that water. It's probably dirty." I'm like, "I'm drinking the water from Pompeii. Leave me alone."
Exactly. I don't care.
Exactly.
Bring on the bugs.
Yeah, yeah. So what was like some of the most interesting finds that you discovered at Pompeii?
Um, so the other thing that people sometimes don't realize is that in archaeology, you're finding stuff all the time. Because you know you've chosen where to dig and you know there's going to be stuff there, so you're digging up ceramics, everything's coming out the ground a lot. But yeah, so in the photo actually that you put up, there's that. I mean, there was loads of that. There was just a random bit of stucco there, and I'm
Yeah.
just holding it being like, great. Another bit that I found.
And I
So
love that picture, I have to say.
you
Uh,
like it?
Usually when I ask people like, send me a picture so that I can use for a promo poster, it's like glamorous shots, you know, in a studio or whatever. And you sent
Yeah.
me a picture from Pompeii while you were digging. I was like, this is great.
That's what you want.
Yeah,
It's me with like dirt all over my face. Yeah.
exactly.
Um, but no, I did actually. So yeah, you're finding a lot of stuff all the time. But what was really cool is that I found a bit of pottery with this letter on. I didn't know what this letter was. So my professor took it in and studied it. And he actually thought it was the most important find of the decade to come out of Pompeii, because it was part of an alphabet that's very rare, called the New Syrian alphabet. And basically, because of its presence, it told him about the origins of Pompeii before Rome. So whether it was Pompeii came from locals or Etruscan, and because of this, because of the presence of this language here, which was sort of more locally inspired, it was really significant. So that was, I mean, that was amazing. You don't always get to have big discoveries like that. So yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah, that must have been quite amazing because the origins of Pompeii are not too certain because there's so many mixes of cultures happening there.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
precisely.
yeah. So, you know, what finds do you think there are still to be made at Pompeii?
I mean, the other day, I was reading the other day, they found that that snack bar. It was incredible. Did you see that?
Um,
Yeah.
is that the snack bar that had the scene, the hunting scene that they found?
Yeah, it was yellow and it had kind of, it was for
Yeah.
fast food.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're finding stuff all the time. And I mean, at least when I was digging, I remember hearing that a fifth of Pompeii hasn't actually been excavated.
It's
So
huge.
there's still a lot there. Um, and yeah, I loved that discovery. The snack bar with you could see where they put all the fast food, and you can imagine them going in there and getting there. I'm not quite sure what they would have eaten, but uh, Roman fast food.
I've heard about the fish sauce, which does not sound that great to me. So
So hopefully not that.
yeah. I wonder what I would be eating if I lived there.
Yeah.
What has been like one of the scariest things to happen to you during an excavation?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I don't think I've had any danger situations. I think probably sometimes the heads of missions can be quite scary. That's
Oh,
probably it. I won't say who.
Okay, yeah. I would expect it to be like getting stuck in a hole while excavating or something like that, or things
Mm,
crumbling and you escape just in time, or
sorry, I should have made something up. I got stuck in a hole and the whole tomb fell on me, and yeah.
and that's where you found that piece of
And
the
then I found the biggest discovery ever.
exactly. We're documentary producers. We've got to spice it up,
Yeah, I know what you need. I'm sorry.
So, what obstacles do you feel that you faced when starting out in your career, and how did you overcome them?
Um, I mean, the one that springs to mind is probably, I mean, I've got a bad back, so in archaeology, I couldn't do a lot of the heavy lifting. So I was always sent to do like the surveying or the lighter tasks, and that wasn't too bad because I didn't have to do all the back breaking, shoveling of all the earth out. But in documentaries, it means that I probably won't be doing a lot of the camera work, which is a shame.
Yeah,
But I guess it just leads me to doing more of the research, which is probably what I like most anyway.
yeah,
It lets me use, what I've learned from archaeology. So yeah.
exactly. And we're gonna get to the documentaries in a little bit, because I know you've worked with some of my friends as well. So I want to hear
Yes.
some of the scoop on them.
Sure.
But where is a place that you would still like to excavate
Um,
or
I would,
investigate?
yeah, I would really like to do underwater excavation. That's one of my dreams. That's one of my bucket list. Um, my main professor was an underwater archaeologist, and I don't know, something about it fascinates me. And I
Yeah.
mean, I can't dive, so I need to learn.
Okay.
And maybe I'll have to go back and do it. But yeah, the idea of, I think I love the fact, like with shipwrecks, for example, it's just a moment frozen in time.
Exactly.
It's a bit like why Pompeii is so incredible. It's been frozen in time. That's everything is there. You've got it all there.
Yeah.
So I love that side of underwater archaeology. Yeah.
Well, with the name Cleopatra, you could go and dive in the bay at Alexandria, um,
Exactly. I
or
know.
the Heraklion. So,
Oh, well, that was my professor.
oh,
The guy
okay.
at Heraclean, yeah.
Yeah,
I think and that's one of my favorite sites. It's incredible.
yeah, yeah. Well, I hope we do get to see you diving.
Yeah. Wetsuit and all.
So, tell me, how did you become involved with National Geographic and the documentaries and researching? How did that come about?
Um, Again, it was kind of it was lucky really. I was between jobs and I was actually traveling with a friend. I didn't really know what my plan was. And she knew that the company I work for were looking for an Egyptian researcher, an ancient Egypt researcher, and they needed one as soon as possible. So the minute I got back to London, I went to see them. And obviously studying Egyptology isn't that common. So when they saw my CV, they thought I could do the job. And a week later, I'd started, and then it's been 2 years really. So yeah, it just happened like that. I was just lucky really to hear about the job.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad you did, because you've worked on some of our favorite series, which we've seen on National Geographic, which featured many of my Egyptology friends, such as
Mhm.
John Ward and Maria Nilsson,
Yes.
Colleen Darnell, Chris Norton. Um, the series was called Egypt's Lost Treasures. Uh,
Hmm.
what was that experience like?
Oh yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I was speaking to all of those people today actually.
Okay.
um yeah, it was, I mean, it's literally my dream show to work on because basically, for those of you who don't know, it follows archaeologists in the field. So there are about 6 episodes in the series, and each episode has a broad theme, and you go around these different incredible sites and see what the archaeologists are discovering. And what's really fun about it is that it's not really super produced. It's kind of, it lets the archaeology happen, and it lets the Egyptologists just work and show off their work, really. So, and it's really fun also to be on the research side of it, because basically my job is to find the most exciting missions and speak to the archaeologists and research how we're going to create the show. And I love thinking about how basically the crux of it is how to get people excited about archaeology, and how to tell it in an engaging and an exciting way, whilst not diminishing the academic side of it and the truth. So yeah, it's just been an amazing 2 years, looking at all these sites, working with these archaeologists, and kind of being the sort of middleman between production and the Egyptologists.
Yeah. And I mean, it's such a great series, also produced in part with past preservers. So, it's such a great show. And as you said, it's trying to involve younger people without ruining the quality of the discoveries. A lot of us have seen documentaries where everything is overhyped, but there's really nothing being told. But I feel that Lost Treasures of Egypt, it's so natural. It's great. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, just it lets the stories tell themselves, really.
Yeah.
Which is quite, not all archaeology documentaries are like that. So it's great. I agree. If I do say so myself.
Yeah. And, as you mentioned, a lot of young people are not interested in history, which is a reason that makes this documentary so great for young people to watch. We can make things cool while also interesting. Why do you think people have lost interest in the last, let's say, 50 years?
Oh, that's a good question. I think archaeology can often be told in quite a dry way. And I think, actually, to be honest, with social media, that's kind of changing, because there's a lot more voices, and people are thinking about how to create engaging content, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube. So people are telling it in an exciting way. And it's funny, because it's a subject that I think a lot of people, the majority of people actually, would be kind of superficially interested in. I tell people my job, and they immediately spark up and say, oh, I used to really like ancient Egypt when I was 10 or something like that. And so they all have this like superficial interest, but they don't actually have the platform really to engage with it. Or I think people kind of think that it's for academics, or it's for a group of people that just are really, really into it and really know their stuff. Whereas actually, I think it can be for everyone.
Exactly.
It's just about the way that you tell it, basically. Which is what I mean, that's why I started the Instagram that I do. Is I just really enjoy thinking about how to tell these stories that will get more people engaged and get different types of people engaged, and just basically widen it out.
Exactly. I mean, I did a series called Egypt Through the Ages, and I produced it and made it so I wanted to make it relatable to younger people, if you know what I mean. So I chose more up-tempo music. I told it in a more fun way, which some Egyptologists were like, ooh, what is this?
Yeah, that's a toss-up, yeah.
And yet I'm getting messages almost every day from non-Egyptologists saying, I watched the series and now I want to go to Egypt.
Oh, really?
There we go.
And there we have it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of tread the line, really, between I don't know, between, I guess, sensationalism and being truthful and accurate. But I think I mean, you don't want to do it too much with the sensationalism, but you need to tell it in a way that gets people excited, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's difficult.
Which is why I love your Instagram as well, because there's some stories on there that are so like in depth that really historians would only sort of know what's going on there. But then you've got other posts which are so informative for someone who knows nothing about that subject. They can learn so much.
Oh, good. That's what I'm trying to do, at least.
Yeah. No, so if anybody wants to check out Cleopatra's Instagram, it's Cleopatra Digs It.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
That's right.
Go check it out. There's like always new posts, always interesting things, not just Egypt, not just Greece, all over the world. So interesting. You did a post the other day on Titanic, which I was very happy.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I learned about that when I was studying, and I thought, why not explore that?
Yeah.
Deep sea archaeology is fascinating. We know so little about it.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say I'd like to see you diving at Titanic, but bit deep.
A little bit deep, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So which site or discovery while working on the Egypt's Lost Treasures series did you find the most fascinating?
I think, I don't know if you remember Alejandro.
Yes.
Remember him from the show? Yeah. So he has the most incredible site in Aswan, and it's right on the Nile, and you basically, on the cliffs overhanging the Nile, you've got these tombs cut into the rock.
Kubait el-Hawar.
Yes, exactly. Kubait el-Hawar. Yeah. And first of all, he's amazing. He's amazing to work with. He's so passionate, and so, yeah, he's brilliant. But his site is just so magical because you can see the Nile, you can see the island in the Nile, you can see all of Aswan. And then every few seconds, I mean, the tombs pop up from out of nowhere, it seems.
Yeah.
And when we were there, he'd found loads of incredible discoveries, all these sarcophagi, amazing things. And then at the end, he suddenly, without us realizing, found a whole group of mummified crocodiles. I don't know if you remember seeing that.
Yes.
But it was, and I think it was like our last day shooting there or something. And so we were getting ready for the team to come back home and everything. And then we got a call being like, and he's found loads of crocodiles, which was just amazing. And they're so perfectly preserved. You can see the teeth, you can see the head, you can see everything.
And did they smell?
I'm not sure. Probably, yeah. Probably. And they had an amazing story behind them, being probably to do with the crocodile god. So I think that's my favorite site that we've worked on. Hopefully Alejandro sees this, and
I'll send him the link on Facebook. I'll tell him check it out.
Exactly.
Exactly. We need him to go back and find more, and you need to go back and shoot more so we can see more.
We do. Well, he will be going back hopefully later in the year.
Yeah. Was there ever a time where you felt like changing your career?
Not since I've gone on this path, no. Only when I didn't really know where I was going in my career. But now I feel pretty confident that this is definitely what I want to do forever, really. And maybe it'll take different formats. Maybe I'll go back to study a bit. Maybe I'll stick on the documentaries. But it's definitely going to be to do with archaeology, that's for sure.
Yeah. More avenues to explore.
Yeah, exactly.
So why do you love telling people stories about the ancient world?
I think it's just because I love the story so much. As a child, I was always writing stories. I had this book that I was constantly writing different stories and making these different worlds up. And so to have these sort of imaginative worlds that are real and that you can find out about them. I love the idea of archaeology as basically like a crime scene, and you're a detective and you're kind of putting together the clues and putting together a chronology, and just really thinking about what life was actually like back then and thinking about the people involved, rather than, I don't know, when I was studying history, it's about, dates or wars or these kind of concrete, sort of, my view, slightly boring things. Whereas in archaeology, you got to think about the actual people behind it and imagine what their lives were like. And that's probably why I love Egypt so much, is because of the incredible preservation. It allows you to, see their clothes, see their shoes, see their faces.
Yeah.
You can literally put a face to the name.
Yeah.
And it's unlike any other civilization because of that. And that, to me, is the magic of it, really. And that's why I love the storytelling to do with Egypt.
Exactly. And, for myself, when I go to Egypt and I see things and I discover things, it's like, this is what I'm interested in. There's a lot of people who, they go there and they want to know, okay, the pyramid was built with so many blocks and the blocks are so big and they measure so much and they weigh so much. That's great. I don't care about that. I want to know about the people, what they did, where they lived. I think that's interesting. Would you say that is still something that you want to explore more?
Definitely. That is what I'm interested in, for sure. It's the people behind it rather than the big structures or the engineering or anything like that. It's, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And what is a misconception that you would still like to change in people's minds about history, Egyptologists, archaeologists?
Maybe the archaeology is just the idea that it's quite conventional and boring. I'd like to change that. I want more young people to be interested in it and get excited by it, and it not be just about kind of, dusty old museums. It's exciting. Like, yes, it's the past, but the past can tell us about our future, and there's just so much to discover. I think that's what I'd like to change.
Yeah. I think people are so, sucked into TikTok and Instagram and all these things that are quite superficial. So we need to come up with a way to reintroduce history in a fun way. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we've got a partnership here.
Exactly. You've got your great posts and your documentaries. I'm doing interviews and we're doing things. So
Exactly.
and like, look at us. Are we like, walking around with a Zimmer frame?
No. Definitely not.
Exactly. So there's got to be more of us out there.
I think there are. That's what's fun about Instagram, actually, is that the other day I had the funny thing of Tash Bilson, who's an archaeologist, and she's on Instagram as well. I don't know if you've seen her. But we were asked to do this shoot for outdoor wear, and they wanted archaeologists. And because of Instagram, I then got to meet her and basically discuss archaeology and be proper nerds and discuss why we loved it so much. And that is the good thing about Instagram, is it's basically, it allows these niches and these communities and these niches to meet each other and get excited.
Exactly.
Which is exciting. There are bad things about social media, but that's definitely one of the better ones.
Yeah. So one of the upcoming things that we'll see you in is outdoor wear model.
It was great, but it was a really weird day. I think both Tash and I had no idea what we were going into. We just needed sort of someone related to archaeology. Yeah. So you'll see that on the Instagram.
I can't wait. You need to get Colleen Donnell involved. And
definitely. Yeah. 100%.
Exactly. So what would you say is the one thing about working in your field that has changed your life?
It sounds quite cheesy, but it's given me a passion, other than your friends and your family and people you love. It's given me something to really get excited by. And especially in lockdown, I mean, thank God, you know, there's nothing else to do. So I've been allowed to just spend time getting excited about my career and getting excited about where archaeology will lead me. And yeah, that's definitely changed my life.
Yeah, yeah. The people, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, Cleopatra, this has been so much fun getting to know you. Before I hand it over to our audience to, if they have any questions to ask you, I have a couple quick fire questions.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Favorite place in Egypt?
Aswan.
This one. Favorite artifact?
Golden sandals.
Mm-hmm. Whose golden sandals?
Tutankhamun's.
Ah, yes. Favorite pharaoh?
Cleopatra.
Favorite queen?
Nefertari.
Oh. Finally, someone gave the answer. Favorite place apart from Egypt?
Greece.
Greece. Pompeii or Aswan?
Aswan.
Aswan. Well, Cleopatra, that has been so much fun. Thank you so much for taking the time.
No, thank you. This has been really fun. It's been great.
I can't believe an hour is like already passed. It's just
Has it been
insane.
an hour?
It has, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some of these interviews, like I don't know how the time just goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you're back doing your thing in Egypt, we'll have a catch up, okay?
Yeah, for sure. That sounds good.
So I'd like to open up to some of the audience for their questions. So whoever unmutes the quickest, go.
That would be me.
Hi out there.
Hi. I'm so glad that the question part came because I've been listening as I was driving, and I'm so glad the question part we got here where I was pulled over and ready to ask.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I've so enjoyed listening to you talk about your experiences and your enthusiasm for not only Egypt, but archaeology in particular. So my question is, in the long history of archaeologists, who would be a favorite that you would like to have, like, go back in time and work with that particular person, and on what dig would that be?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, that's good. I mean, there is one. So, I mean, the obvious one is Howard Carter. That would have obviously been incredible. But that's quite obvious. I'd say, I now can't remember her name, but I did a story about her the other day. She discovered the temple of what she described was the temple of Aphrodite. And let's see if I can find her name. I love her because she was kind of not really liked by the academic world, but she became obsessed by this temple and made it her life's mission to go find it. I think I can find it here.
Okay.
And yeah, it was just a great story because it was just her passion, and she spent her life trying to find this temple, and eventually she found it and persuaded everyone it was the right one.
Which temple of Aphrodite was it? The one in Cyprus or Greece?
It was hold on, I'm just getting it up now. Iris Love, that was it. Known to people as Indiana Jones in a miniskirt. Yeah, she's great. She was sailing along Turkish coast, and then she saw a site and she thought that this was the temple that everyone was talking about, this temple of Aphrodite. It was called Knidos. And yeah, she found a statue that basically meant that she built her case that this was the right temple. I think people probably don't agree with it, but anyway, I love the story of her kind of proving proving people wrong, especially in a man's world of archaeology. This kind of like young girl in the miniskirt just gets obsessed with it. So that was my favorite story. Yeah.
All right, I'll have to look her up. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Yeah, especially that, like you said, that a young woman found it, and it's the temple of Aphrodite. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Next question.
Question for you. Are you ready to go to Saqqara with Ramadan and take a crew there?
Oh, well, I've tried. You've hit upon something. I've been trying to get him on the series for a while now. Ramadan has been evading me. No, I'm joking. We would love that. Ramadan's site is incredible. So hopefully at some point we'll have a chance to work together. I'm holding out hope.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, she's correct. Yeah, we had long conversations together about joining the team and, and coming to Saqqara. But hopefully in the future we can do that.
Yeah, sure.
But
sure.
I really appreciate. I mean, we had really very, very good conversations together, and I appreciate that they're interested in the site. And yeah, who knows? Very soon we can do something together.
Sure, yeah. Your site, I loved our conversation as well, hearing about your site.
Thank you. I will be heading back to Saqqara hopefully in June. Yeah, it's gonna be very hot but
that is gonna be boiling.
Yeah. I haven't been to Saqqara since December. Oh my God, December 2019. So it's been quite some time.
Time to get back.
I need to go back. There's so much to be discovered.
Yeah.
We have a lot to study. Yeah.
Go wait for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for the invitation. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Well, I might see you there, Ramadan. I'm trying to, after I'm in Italy, to go to Egypt. I just need to find out how the visa is going to work to get visa from Italy.
What's your plans for the summer?
So just to come to Egypt and explore. Nuri and I are planning on just going around for a while and definitely going to Abydos, Saqqara, just exploring, taking time. We don't want to schedule.
That's nice. Well, I should be there in June, maybe part of July as well. So let me know if you're going.
Yeah. Well, I should be there if things go right, end of June. So
yeah. Okay, that's good.
We'll see.
Keep me posted.
I will.
Sure.
Next question for Cleopatra.
Not really a question. Cleopatra, do you wish you'd been the one to dress Chris Norton in the pink pajamas?
I haven't heard about this. What's this pink pajamas thing?
Oh, it was actually a BBC production called The Man Who Discovered Egypt. And because Petrie, to keep the tourists away from when he was working, because they annoyed him so much, he used to wear pink pajamas or pink underwear. And from a distance, it looked like he wasn't wearing anything. And when Chris Norton did a program called The Man Who Discovered Egypt, they got him dressed up in these pink pajamas.
Oh my God, I didn't see that. That's amazing. Poor Chris.
You have to check it out. You have to check it out. I surprised him when we were doing our interview. And I said, I have a surprise for you. And I popped the picture up on the screen. And I said, like, now you have to explain, what is this about?
Oh dear, poor him.
Another thing, Egyptology is not boring.
Sorry?
I said Egyptology is not boring.
Certainly isn't.
Yeah, exactly, pink pajamas.
Well, also the Italy exploits you had. You said you briefly mentioned you were in Heracleum as well. And of course, they've got the tunnel through and found the remains of the Colosseum there. I don't know if they started moving in that direction again as well in Heracleum there.
Sorry, Herculaneum, did you say?
Sorry?
Herculaneum, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, what did you ask, sorry?
No, I was saying they got that tunnel through to where the remains under that cliff. Most terrifying thing to go under that great depth. But they found the Colosseum buried. I was just wondering whether you knew any more about that, because they were going to exploit it a bit more. I know it's not open to the public anymore. But...
I don't know anything more about that, but that sounds very interesting. Yeah, I'll read up on that. That's cool.
Yeah. This is the picture.
Oh, wow. Lucky him. Oh my God.
Very brave, very brave.
I'll try, if he works on Lost Treasures, I'll say that he has to wear those as well.
There we go.
There we go.
That'll get some viewers in.
Yeah, exactly. That'll get them running.
Do we have any more questions for Cleopatra? Emer, have they found any Egyptian artifacts in the UK or in Pompeii?
Not that I'm aware of, but you mentioned some, didn't you, in Pompeii? You were saying that they found Egyptian artifacts in Pompeii.
Yes, they found it's actually in the Naples Museum. There's an offering table of Psamtik III, a basalt, I believe, offering table of Psamtik III, and also a small obelisk of Psamtik that was found at Pompeii.
Amazing, yeah.
And of course, some Sistra as well. So.
Yeah, cool.
Hello.
Hi, this is Dalia. Thank you for a fascinating talk. I've got just a quick question for Cleopatra. It sounds, so weird to say that name. Which place in Egypt do you think it still has a potential to yield most of discoveries?
Oh, good question. I think, I mean, to be honest, the best thing about Egypt as well is that there's still so much to discover. I mean, definitely the digs going on at Luxor right now are really exciting. They're finding loads more tombs and loads of incredible discoveries, which you will see if you watch Lost Treasures. Yeah, I'd say Luxor would be the one that springs to mind. But there's definitely, I mean, they're coming out all over the place in Egypt. So many of these sites have so much more to find. So it's just really a case of when, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
They,
Thank you.
as we know, Zahi Hawass is looking for the tomb of Nefertiti. What do you think about that? Do you think he's...
Yes, I do. I do indeed. Yep, I would say so. I think that, I personally think that Nick Reeves's theory was very interesting, and that we could have a discovery waiting to happen, hopefully soon.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope so, because he's finding some interesting things in the Valley of the Baboons. So
we'll see.
Exactly. All righty.
Just to say, I really enjoyed. Hey, Cleo, it's me, Tasha. Hi, nice to meet you, Curtis. I love what you're doing at the moment, and just so you know, I think it's really good. The fact that finding different ways to communicate archaeology and history is quite important. And as Cleo and you have both said, social media is a great platform, but also a curse in itself. So it's great what you're doing, and yeah, I've enjoyed your interview, and it was nice to see you, Ramadan. Never met you before, but your work is amazing. So just want to say that. That's all.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Am I correct? You are the one doing the podcasts.
Yes. So I have a YouTube channel called Behind the Trowel, where I interview archaeologists.
Yes.
So Ramadan, if you'd like to come on, let me know.
Sure, let me know.
That's Sakara. But so kind of as a side hustle, I do online engagement, but I'm an archaeologist in the UK, and I've been working for 8 years as a professional archaeologist. So And some of you, I don't know if anyone's watched The Great British Dig on Channel 4. You have, Jill? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, very good. Yes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully there'll be a second series.
There was one where you had our friend James on it. He's the guy
James Wright.
Yes, we
He's
do.
brilliant.
Every week he does a Zoom.
He does, yeah. He's got one on Thursday.
That's
Again,
it.
We should be there.
It's over Soli.
Oh yes.
but yeah.
I haven't seen it because we don't have it on TV here in South Africa, and no one's put it on YouTube yet. I do keep checking, but
VPN.
Is it?
VPN, you can get it through VPN.
Okay.
Just say you're in London. The internet's amazing.
I will check it out. But am I correct? Is it sort of like Great British Bake Off meets archaeology?
It's not as competitive as that. The idea is, imagine Time Team mixed with, there's nothing like the Bake Off, nothing like it, except for we've got the tent. So we do the dig in the gardens, and then at the end there's this tent, and they make us all go out. It's horrible. It's horrifying because I'm not a public speaker. So for me, I do not enjoy that bit at all. They make us like walk into the tent and talk to everyone that was a part of the dig, which is fine. But it's just the idea of it's the only time that they make us kind of like set up and like produce us. And we're all just like, we don't want to do this. We just want to talk to everyone. So they make us talk, but stand there and talk to them. It's really strange, but it's just digging in the gardens and local community areas, and we have a rough idea, but we don't really know what we're going to find, and it's just working with the local community. So that's the idea of it.
Cleopatra, when are you going to start digging in your backyard?
Oh, I already do. Of course I do. I actually know, honestly, in lockdown, this tutoring company asked me to give a tutorial of how to dig. So I did do that in my garden. I got my mum's gardening trowel because I didn't have my trowel. I was in London, and just like dug away at this kind of mound of soil and tried to tell them what to do. Tried to teach them.
Did you find anything interesting?
I actually did find, I found this, like, I think it must have been an ashtray, but I did find something and then presented it to the camera as if, just found today.
You see, that's where you are meant to be an archaeologist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for all of your questions tonight. For Cleopatra, thank you, Cleopatra, for joining.
No, thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
Oh, it's been great getting to meet you after all these months.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. Well, stay in touch and keep digging.
All right, I will keep digging.
Anyway, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
No, welcome.
Dad,
Yeah.
are you talking to your buddy?
No, I'm not talking to my buddy.
Let's see who are you talking.
Come say hi to everyone. Yes, come say hi. Oh, here's my Martha.
Hi.
So cute.
Oh,
thank you. It's my Martha Marie. Yeah. You say hi.
Guten Abend, Martha Marie. Wie geht's? It is. And for those of you who don't know, as Maria was saying earlier, she's going to record some footage for me. Her and I and a couple others, we're working on a new documentary about the end of the 19th dynasty.
Ooh.
So,
cool. Yeah, and you like those pictures. They were good. I'm glad. Those were fun to take.
They were good. I mean, the Met was empty, so it was
empty. It was terrible.
Good for the pictures.
Yeah, I actually am writing a program on Ramses II, the first time ever. So if I have any questions, I know who to ask. Well, it's due next Tuesday. I'm giving it next Tuesday, so I've got a little bit of time.
Oh, okay.
It's exactly when you're busy. I'm gonna go to your YouTube, your show, or your movie, watch your movies.
Yeah. Well, send me any questions that you have. I mean, I'm at home now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm doing one on Armana Akhenaten and Nefertiti, so I have to like school myself.
Cleopatra.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Cleopatra.
Hi, Cleopatra.
Hi, everyone.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Thank you for having me on here.
Thanks for joining us. It's so nice to finally meet you.
I know. I feel like we've been trying to do this for a long time, so I'm really excited.
I know we've been chatting on Instagram for months. I've been following your posts and your blogs, and they're all so great. So glad that you've made some time to share some of your stories with us tonight.